Tonight, an explosive day in Donald Trump's trial.
We will immediately appeal.
A jury ordering him to pay $83.3 million in damages to columnist E. Jean Carroll. Before that, the former president walking out of the court and the judge threatening to lock up his attorney. The tense moments in the courtroom. Plus,
my dad said, "Son, I have lost everything in my life in Myanmar. Now I'm losing you." Yeah.
Inside the world's largest refugee camp and the people risking their lives to escape it, Rohingya Muslims were violently driven from their homes in Myanmar, but their search for a safe haven has never ended, leading them on perilous journeys to Bangladesh and beyond. Good evening, everyone. I'm Juju Chang in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin with the verdict in the defamation case against former President Trump. Just a short time ago, the jury ordered Trump to pay writer E. Jean Carroll a stunning $83.3 million for defaming her. Carroll beaming as she left the court with her attorneys today, while a defiant President Trump took to social media to call the verdict absolutely ridiculous and vowing to appeal. His attorney calling the trial a hoax by a, quote, corrupt system because the judge did not allow her to introduce certain evidence. President Trump stormed out of the courtroom during closing arguments and now heads to Las Vegas to hit the campaign trail once again. ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky leads us off tonight from outside the courtroom.
Tonight, the staggering judgment against Donald Trump. A jury of 7 men and 2 women ordering him to pay writer E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million for defaming her after she went public with her accusation that he sexually assaulted her in a department store dressing room in the 1990s. Trump had already been found liable for the sexual assault. Tonight, the jury punishing him for defaming Carroll by publicly attacking her again and again. Her lawyers playing examples in court.
I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story, made up story. I have no idea who the hell. She's a whack job.
But the jury was shown this photo, Trump and Carroll greeting each other in the late 1980s. In closing arguments today, her lawyers asking the jury, how much will it take to make him stop? They said Trump's defamatory statements triggered a tsunami of attacks, including death threats that are now part of her daily life. Carroll had testified she keeps a pit bull at home, a gun by her bed. She said the former president shattered her reputation, adding, I've paid just about as dearly as is possible to pay. Trump was not required to attend this trial, but he showed up in court 4 times anyway, treating it as a virtual campaign stop and a way to raise money. He was here today for closing arguments, but as Carroll's lawyer spoke, he stormed out. The record will reflect that Mr. Trump just rose and walked out of the courtroom, Judge Lewis Kaplan said. The former president was not in the room when the jury announced its verdict. After, jurors spirited out, driven away from the courthouse, their identities protected. Judge Kaplan telling them, my advice to you is that you never disclose that you were on this jury.
We go now to ABC's senior investigative reporter, Aaron Katursky, who is outside the courthouse. Aaron, what more can you tell us about the claims by Trump's lawyer that the trial was corrupt because she wasn't able to introduce certain evidence or expert testimony?
There was a lot of evidence she was not able to introduce, and that was by design, Juju. The judge put up pretty significant guardrails because former President Trump had already been found liable of sexually assaulting and defaming E. Jean Carroll. So Trump was not allowed to argue otherwise, and the judge said he did not want any inadmissible evidence to come before the jury.
And Aaron, you pointed out in your reporting that the judge encouraged jurors never to reveal that they were part of the trial. What does that tell you?
The judge was really concerned about former President Trump's behavior and his rhetoric. Not only did he limit what he could say, but he threatened to kick Trump out of court if he continued to make disruptive comments that the jury could hear. And so when he told jurors they were going to be anonymous, he said that was for their own safety. And as they were spirited out of court, he reminded them that they don't need to tell anyone that they actually sat on this jury if they don't want potential harm to come to them.
For their own protection. And yet, Aaron, this isn't the only case clearly the former president faces. Give us an update, if you will, on the other pending criminal cases.
It's certainly not the only case that the former president is facing. We're awaiting an outcome in another civil case at the courthouse next door, where former President Trump was on trial by the New York Attorney General's office for a $370 million civil fraud, as alleged. And the former president is just waiting to hear what the judge is going to make him pay, if it's going to be that much, and if it's going to affect his ability to control his businesses here in New York going forward. Criminal cases are expected to start later this year, Juju.
And we know you'll stay on it, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron Kaczynski. And let's get some legal perspective now with Kim Whaley, a professor at University of Baltimore School of Law and an ABC News legal contributor. Kim, speaking after the verdict, Trump's attorney claimed that some of that evidence she wasn't allowed to show the judge because the judge hindered their defense. Is that outside the norm for a case like this?
No, well, it's outside the norm to have two back-to-back defamation trials, one involving defamation in 2022 and one involving defamation in 2019. And in the first trial, as Aaron indicated, a jury already found that to say that she was a liar about the incident in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room, the rape, that she was the liar was a lie. So the first jury found that he lied about that. And there's a doctrine called res judicata and claim preclusion in the law that says once a jury and you had a chance to mount a defense, that holds. That sticks for later cases that are on the same topic, because otherwise you could just redo things over and over again. So that verdict on the underlying claim of defamation, the lie, that carried over to this one. And so there was $5 million judgment and the money damages on the first one. And this is for the separate incident. And the jury just went crazy, really. I mean, I put that in not in a pejorative sense. They're essentially looking at backwards and seeing he just continues to do that. That's the punitive part, punishing him for continuing to flout the prior jury's verdict, the judicial system, and frankly, Ms. Carroll's legal rights in this moment.
And so in terms of Trump's attorney, we heard her say they plan to appeal immediately. How strong a case would that give them? And in general, what would they need to legally prove to get that appeal?
You know, it's really hard, Juju, to imagine any strong arguments on appeal here, because, again, this second trial was about the jury listening to her testimony and the evidence and deciding, well, number one, how badly was she harmed, and number two, whether he should be punished to make him stop. So these are discretionary decisions for juries, and appeals courts don't like to mess with regular humans, regular jurors and their decisions on these kinds of issues. If there's some underlying ruling that the judge made on a technical legal technicality, they might comb through the record and try to raise that. But my guess is Judge Kaplan was impeccable knowing that this is going to get that kind of scrutiny, and gave Donald Trump really allowing him to testify, for example, on damages, gave him the benefit of the doubt along the way. So I think Ms. Haba is actually speaking more to political supporters than the actual legal minds. I think this is going to stick. The big question, as we saw with the Rudy Giuliani verdict, frankly, is whether Donald Trump is going to pay up easily, or whether Ms. Carroll is going to have to initiate additional proceedings to get him to actually pay up on the verdict, assuming that verdict is upheld on appeal, which I think it will be.
Clearly, the legal drama continues. Kim Whaley, thank you. And of course, we'll keep you updated on any developments here on ABC News Live Prime. Turning now to the back-to-back storms taking aim at the eastern U.S. tonight. Southern Louisiana already dealing with the dense fog and dangerous driving conditions after days of heavy rain. And of course, more is on the way. But there are also these stunning images from D.C. today. People on the National Mall, this is today, dressed for summer. ABC's senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking it all. Rob, any chance we'll be in summer clothes soon here in New York?
I don't think so. That 80 in D.C., that's going to go away as well. But the good news is for folks here and along 85, it'll be warm enough to where the next storm coming in will be mostly rain. If you're a snow lover, you're not liking that. Take a look at the watches that are up, flood watches up. After this very active week, this is the final push that's going to come through. Chicago, I think, you're going to stay in the soup through Sunday. Here comes the heavy rain down I-20, I-40. Severe storms down I-10 into the Florida Panhandle. And then the heavy rain pushes up through Atlanta, up and over the mountains into D.C. There goes your 80. It'll be a cold rain tomorrow. Philly, New York into Sunday as well. The cold air tries to get to the coast, but it's not going to make it. Looks like most of the snow that accumulates will be well inland, maybe north of I-84. 3 to 6, maybe 6 to 12 at some of the higher elevations. Here along I-95, it will be just a bit of a wet mess. I think kids here will be back to school, disappointingly so for them, come Monday.
You're
Juju?
disappointing a lot of kids, Rob. Thank you, Rob Marciano. Enjoy your weekend.
You got it. Thanks.
And now to the dramatic testimony in the unprecedented trial of a Michigan mother charged in her son's deadly school attack. Jurors hearing testimony about Jennifer Crumbley's text messages, including the last one she sent to her son. Prosecutors also playing the panicked call her husband made to 911 when he discovered the handgun he'd purchased for their son was missing. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, prosecutors in the case of Jennifer Crumbley taking the jury minute by minute through the worst school shooting in Michigan history, playing the frantic 911 call from her husband when he discovered the handgun he'd purchased for his son was missing.
I think my son took the gun. I don't know if it's him. I don't know what's going on. I'm really freaking out.
Surveillance video played in court shows the parents at the school around 11 a.m. for a meeting with their son and a counselor after a teacher discovered disturbing drawings on his math worksheet. But the Crumbleys chose not to take him home. Prosecutors showing the jury the last messages Jennifer Crumbley sent her son before he took the lives of 4 of his classmates. At 12:21, she asks, "You okay?" The shooter responding a minute later, "Yeah, I just got back from lunch." At 12:38, Jennifer says, "You know you can talk to us and we won't judge." 13 minutes later, at 12:51, he began his rampage. The prosecution argues the day before, Jennifer Crumbley laughed off her then 15-year-old son getting caught searching ammunition online at school, texting, "You have to learn not to get caught," after previously dismissing his hallucinations and cries for help. The shooter texting his, quote, "only friend."
Like it's at the point that I'm asking to go to the doctor, that he says, "My mom laughed when I told her."
The defense argues Jennifer Crumbley had no idea her son would become a murderer, pointing to this text she sent a friend hours after the shooting. "I wish we had warning," she writes. "He's a good kid."
And Trevor Ault joins us now. And Trevor, will Ethan Crumbley himself be taking a stand?
So that was debated pretty intensely in court today, Juju. Then the attorneys for Jennifer Crumbley argued that he needed to take the stand to be questioned as to whether all those messages he sent were truthful. But his attorneys had already made it clear that if he was called, he would simply plead the fifth to every question. So the judge has now confirmed this shooter will not take the stand in his mother's trial. Juju.
Clearly to be continued. Trevor Ault, thank you. And we go overseas now to a serious escalation in the conflict involving ships in the Gulf of Aden. A Houthi missile struck a British oil tanker, the Marlin Luanda, setting it on fire. And tonight there are fears it might sink. ABC's chief global affairs anchor Martha Raddatz reports.
Tonight, a troubling escalation. Iran-backed Houthi rebels attacking a British oil tanker in the Gulf of Aden, leaving the ship ablaze and reportedly at risk of sinking, the crew abandoning the tanker. Tonight, the destroyer USS Carney and a French warship are on their way to assist the Marlin Luanda, damaged by an anti-ship ballistic missile. Houthi rebels have launched nearly 36 attacks on commercial and Navy ships to show solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs telling me today that the 9 retaliatory strikes the U.S. has already carried out against the Houthis are designed so as not to cause a wider war.
When you walk this fine line of not wanting it to escalate, what would you say to those people who are your critics who would say, look, they're not being tough enough on these militants. They're not being tough enough on Iran.
I would also ask, do they want a broader conflict? Do you want us in a full-scale war? That's the goal, is to deter them, and we don't want to go down a path of greater escalation that drives to a much broader conflict.
And Martha Raddatz joins us now. Martha, how long might this last?
I asked the chairman that very question, Juju, and he can't give any sort of time frame. He just wants to stick to trying to avoid any escalation. But what he worries about in all these things is miscalculation. But what is clear tonight is that deterrence thus far hasn't worked. And right now, with the ship burning in the Gulf of Aden, it's clear things are getting worse. Juju?
Thank you, Martha, and we look forward to your conversation. Of course, we can all watch Martha's exclusive sit-down with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Charles Q. Brown, this Sunday on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. And staying overseas, the U.S. has paused funding to the UN agency that provides aid to Palestinians after the stunning accusation that 12 of its workers were involved in the October 7th terror attack on Israel. The agency immediately dismissed the workers while they investigate. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman has more.
Shocking new allegations tonight against the UN's largest aid provider in Gaza. Israel submitting what it says is evidence that 12 aid workers took part in Hamas's October 7th rampage. The United Nations Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, immediately firing those workers, saying its investigation could lead to criminal charges. Tonight, the State Department temporarily pausing funding to the agency.
If the investigation proves that, in this case, I think it's about a dozen employees were assisting Hamas, and even to the point of maybe even, involved in hostage taking, then absolutely they need to be held to account.
It comes after the International Court of Justice, in a sharp rebuke of Israel's conduct of the war, ordered it to, quote, take all measures to prevent genocide. The interim ruling stopped short both of calling Israel's actions in Gaza genocide or demanding an immediate ceasefire.
And what does Israel say to the allegations of war crimes? War crimes, families being blown up in airstrikes, now genocide.
The problem is that Hamas is doing everything he can to use the population as a human shield.
And tonight, Hamas releasing chilling new video showing 3 female Israeli hostages pleading for their release. The families asking we only use a still from the video.
Juju, back to those UN workers accused of involvement in Hamas's October 7th attack. The Biden administration, which has contributed over $1 billion to the agency since 2021, is now calling for a full and transparent investigation. But they're saying that the actions of a few should not impugn the entire agency. Juju.
Matt Gutman, thank you. King Charles is out of surgery after a scheduled procedure to treat an enlarged prostate. Queen Camilla said he is doing well as she left the London hospital where he was being treated. This comes after the Princess of Wales was also admitted to the same clinic for a planned abdominal surgery earlier this month. Her office not disclosing any details, but said her condition is not cancerous. Now to the first ever execution in the U.S. using nitrogen gas. It happened in Alabama, and several other states are set to follow suit. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami with the latest.
Alabama, like every other state with a death penalty that uses lethal injections, has had trouble getting the medications to carry out those capital punishments. But tonight, they're pointing to the execution of Kenneth Smith using nitrogen gas as a way forward.
As of last night, nitrogen epoxy as a means of execution is no longer an untested method. It is a proven one. Alabama has done it, and now so can you.
Smith was executed because he stabbed and killed Elizabeth Sennett, a preacher's wife, in 1988. The jury gave him life in prison, but a judge overruled that sentence and put him on death row. He was scheduled to die more than a year ago, but the execution failed after prison officials struggled to get a needle into any of his veins. This time, they started shortly before 8 p.m. local on Thursday, strapping him to the table, fitting a mask over his face, and pouring nitrogen into the mask. It robbed him of oxygen, and witnesses say he was dead by 8:15.
Smith appeared to violently shake, have seizure-like movements, and convulse on the gurney for at least 2 minutes.
Prison officials pushed back against any idea that there were any problems.
Nothing was out of the ordinary of what we were expecting.
One of Elizabeth Sennett's sons says that justice was served.
Nothing happened here today is going to bring Mom back, but we're glad this day is over.
And Steve Osunsami joins us now. Steve, I gather the White House is speaking out on this as well?
That's right, Juju. The White House is weighing in, calling this execution troubling. But, I should point out that 2 other states are now turning to nitrogen gas for use in their elections, or their executions. And one important point to underline about the state of Alabama, the Alabama officials who spoke today say that prisoners in their state who are on death row get to decide. They get to choose how they die. And they have 43 people on death row who've now chosen nitrogen gas. Juju.
Steve Osunsami, thank you. We've been reporting here on artificial intelligence and what it can already do, but also the major potential risks. Tonight, the White House raising a new alarm about the dangers of AI, calling out a deep fake involving Taylor Swift. Ariel Reshef has more.
Tonight, the White House expressing alarm after explicit so-called deepfakes of superstar Taylor Swift flooded social media. The administration now calling out platforms for lax enforcement against artificial intelligence. One of the fake images of Swift reportedly shared over 47 million times on X in what advocacy groups say is a form of sexual abuse.
There should be legislation, obviously, to deal with this issue. Congress should take legislative action.
X saying in a statement the platform has a zero-tolerance policy towards such content, and they are working to remove all of the images. This, the latest example highlighting the growing dangers posed by artificial intelligence as a source of misinformation, targeting celebrities and our elections. And before the New Hampshire primary last week, the Biden campaign denouncing this deepfake robocall, encouraging people not to go to the polls from what listeners thought was President Biden.
Your vote makes a difference in November, not this Tuesday.
That voice, not the president. It was artificially produced, prompting a criminal investigation by the state's attorney general.
And we have still much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, a routine traffic stop in Oklahoma went very wrong for one state trooper. He's now speaking out to keep other officers safe. But next, we take you to the Andaman Sea and the story of hundreds of thousands of Rohingya Muslims trying to escape what they call a genocide in Myanmar. But the journey to escape is perilous too.
Agents raped her.
Agents raped the girl.
That's from the agent, the smuggler.
I said, the agent, please don't do this. She is my sister. Please.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Can I hug you?
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. Tonight, we have part 3 of our global series on the migration crisis affecting millions of people. Following our reports from Latin America and Africa, next, we take you to Asia. To the world's largest refugee camp in Bangladesh. Almost 1 million Rohingya Muslims live in refugee camps there after being violently driven from their homes in neighboring Myanmar. Last year, a record number of them died at sea trying to reach safer shores in Southeast Asia. But as our Britt Clennett finds out, their new homes are far from welcoming.
Some 4,000 miles from the scorching desert in Libya is the Andaman Sea. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya Muslims have turned to these waters to escape the world's largest refugee camps in Bangladesh. Cox's Bazar is home to more than 1 million Rohingya. They've escaped what many have called a genocide in neighbouring Myanmar in 2017. But Bangladesh has not been a safe haven. These men asked for their identities to be concealed for fear of retaliation.
আমি কাউকে জানা নাই আমি তখন কোনো হইয়ান এ ব্যাপারে এখন হইলে আল্লাহ আতকা এডরে যে আই হবা খয়রগান খওয়ারগান আর দায়িত্ব তো আমি কোন করে বুঝা হরি
According to the UN, the number of Rohingya fleeing Myanmar or Bangladesh increased fivefold in just 1 year. Over the past year, nearly 4,500 made this deadly journey, with more than 560 dying at sea, the most in nearly a decade. This is where we met Noor Sadak in 2020, before he embarked on his own journey to seek asylum. He was just 15 when he fled Myanmar with his parents and brothers.
I'm a Rohingya child. I don't want to see them crying with hunger. I don't want to see them crying for education. I'm crying for education. I see hopes, but I cannot leave this world.
Back then, Noor said he dreamed of returning home to his village that was burned down by the Myanmar military, despite the violence he witnessed.
When I sleep, my pillow becomes wet with tears.
Noor said life in the Bangladesh camps was becoming unbearable.
Is it life or hell? This is not life.
Illnesses like dengue, scabies and waterborne diseases are rampant because of poor sanitation. In some areas, more than 200 people are sharing a single bathroom.
The more the situation is deteriorating, the harder the situation for the mental health of the Rohingya. So they are suffering of anxiety, depression, lack of services.
But the most urgent threats come from armed gangs. They claim to be Rohingya freedom fighters, but are essentially leading a kidnap for ransom racket. Those who can't pay are killed. To escape, thousands here are turning to another criminal network, one that promises to smuggle them across the sea to safety. A smuggler tells us he regularly traffics refugees out of Bangladesh to Malaysia.
Our main godfather is Edesur Shinkor by Iba. Tarlater and farm of forester Niravad, Oi Shinkor, the man with the direct Fulusher Gari Araki. নিরাপদ করে পৌঁছা যায়। আর সিভিল তুলে দিবস সম্মান দিয়ে পুলিশের গাড়িগুলো যেতাম দিই।
But the path to potential freedom is treacherous.
হাজার হাজার মানুষ দেখি মরে গিয়ে কে টাইম তাড়িয়ে কে হল্লা তাড়িয়ে কে পার হয়ে যাওয়া গিয়ে নেলানি পারে।
The migrants have two main routes to escape the dangerous camps of Cox's Bazar. The first, a journey by boat, open only in autumn when the Andaman Sea is calm. The risk of capsizing, getting captured or getting lost runs high. The other, a harrowing land journey, a daring trek, crossing back into a hostile Myanmar through Thailand with hopes of finding their way to Malaysia. There are more than 100,000 Rohingya refugees here. That's according to the UN, but the number is probably a lot higher than that. And that number, it's growing. We travelled to the Thai-Malaysia border along the Sungai Golok River, the last leg of the journey for Rohingya migrants. Here's first sight of it, and a notorious river crossing. This is Sungai Golok. You can see how narrow it is. It doesn't take much to get from Thailand to Malaysia, and you can see just how easy it is. This here is known as the route of the rats because it's unofficial. It's where the people movers go across, where all the unofficial trade happens, because it usually happens at night in the shadows. But only some Rohingya migrants make it this far.
1 month, 15 days.
So it took 1.5 months to go from Bangladesh to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Hashim Allah made this exact trek a few months ago. He describes his hellish journey and violent abuse he faced from the smugglers he had paid to help him. But he says it was the women who suffered the most. Agents raped her.
Agents raped the girl.
That's from the agent, the smuggler.
I said, the agent, please don't do this. She is my sister. Please.
So he said, don't say anything, and then he stabbed you.
Yeah.
Because you spoke out, because those girls were getting raped. He shows us a glimpse of his experience. These photos are rare. Cell phones are normally banned by smugglers. The agent cut her face. These show him smiling and posing for the camera.
A smile?
They asked you to smile.
Yeah.
After all that, it's a rouse. At the end of it all, he was forced to take part in this propaganda, which is then used to lure others in Bangladesh to make the same journey. And then the cycle continues. Hashim made it through alive, but others have been less fortunate. In 2015, almost 140 graves of Rohingya Muslims were discovered along this very border. But for those who live to make it to the other side, no longer bound by fences of the camps, the trip comes at the expense of leaving so much behind. But Malaysia is not a signatory to the UN Convention of Refugees, the country denying the entire Rohingya population any legal status. Here, it's virtually impossible for migrants to find meaningful work to build a life. Even more hardships await.
Is how our homes area looks like.
It is here, in the shadows of Kuala Lumpur's skyscrapers, we meet Nur Sadak once again.
I just wish to own the things I've lost.
The man we met in the camps in Bangladesh 4 years ago.
My dad said, son, I have lost everything in my life in Myanmar. No, I'm losing you. Yeah.
In 2022, Nur took the same journey as Hashim. He made it here to Malaysia, the Muslim-majority country that is currently home to at least 100,000 Rohingya refugees. How dangerous, how violent did it become for you in Bangladesh?
If I would be in the camp, I would have died. I had no other option.
Have you seen much of Malaysia since you got here?
No, really.
None of this belongs to you, that's how you feel?
I feel like I have nothing in this world. It is beautiful. It's so beautiful place, and it's only for Malaysia.
What happens when you say you are a Rohingya?
Why did you come here to snatch my jobs? I thought the people and the country would appreciate me for surviving in this situation.
He's only now 21, but those 4 years have felt like a lifetime. Noah constantly fears detention and deportation if questioned by authorities. But he remains vocal about the dangers in the camps. He shows us these threats he received from the gangs back in Bangladesh.
How cruel the world is. I can't believe, really. I feel so ashamed of this world.
While he may have arrived to his destination, he still feels the shackles of being stateless.
What is your identity here?
A refugee who is not allowed to work, to educate, to think of dreams. That's my identity.
Our thanks to Britt Clennett and her team. Tonight, tune in at 8 p.m. as we tell you the stories of migrants from other corners of the world in our upcoming ABC News Live special, Exodus, Global Migration. Still much more to get to on this Friday. Coming up, why this particular letter mailed with just a 1-penny stamp may now be worth millions of dollars. But next, what current American spending on eating out and apparel tells us about the state of the economy. By the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
on the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
In our connected world, misinformation can masquerade as fact, eroding trust, dividing communities. But behind every share is a person with a decision. Join the movement for a more news-literate America.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
What's good to watch, read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
I love that so much.
GMA Life. Streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
And welcome back. Despite inflation and overall concerns about the economy, Americans are apparently still willing to open their wallets to shop. Let's take a look by the numbers. Overall, the economy grew by 3.3% in the fourth quarter, and consumer spending was the biggest contributor to GDP growth overall. That was much faster than the 2% economists were expecting. Overall, there was a $58.4 billion increase in shopping in December, and that top-line number drove a 3.8% rise in sales overall. So what are Americans buying? Some fun stuff and some necessary stuff. Spending on meals out was up 19.5% last quarter, and beauty products, apparel, and electronics flew off the shelves. Spending on healthcare surged 21.8%, and on a year-to-year basis, retail sales ended 2023 up 5.6%. And we got good news today. Prices rose only 0.2% from November to December, a sign that inflation is beginning to ease even more. The savings rate, though, does remain a dismal 4%. Analysts believe this means whatever wage growth is happening is not being saved for the future, and instead being poured back into the economy now. We have much more ahead here on Prime. Why prominent American museums are now covering and closing exhibits involving certain objects. And how comedian Ronnie Chang takes writing comedy so seriously. We get a front row seat to his Love to Hate It tour.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
From Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Raleigh, North Carolina. The U.S. Capitol. Mayfield, Kentucky. Minneapolis. Mexico. Tongass National Forest, Alaska. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. Giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7 straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news. Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Tesla recalls thousands of vehicles due to an issue with the rear view camera. Why history museums are shutting down culturally insensitive exhibits in a hurry. And the French farmers taking to the streets in their tractors. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown.
24 Republican governors voicing support for Texas Governor Greg Abbott in his ongoing migration standoff with the federal government. A letter signed by nearly every Republican governor across the country saying Texas has a constitutional right to self-defense and an obligation to protect the Lone Star State from what they say is an influx of migrants. The Supreme Court ruled earlier this week that the federal government can remove razor wire from parts of the border. Texas said they will add more razor wire in the coming days.
Ford and Kia announced recalls earlier this week. Now it's Tesla's turn. The electric car maker recalling nearly 200,000 vehicles over a software problem that can prevent the rear view camera from displaying. That can increase the risk of a crash, even though none have been reported. The recall comes as Tesla stock fell this week after it warned it would be delivering fewer cars in 2024 and after a December recall of 2 million vehicles.
The first known piece of mail using a stamp could fetch millions at an auction next week. Sotheby's in New York conducting the auction and expecting the winning bid could be up to nearly $3 million. The envelope is dated May 2nd, 1840. It was sent to a manager of an ironworks shop in northern England. The original cost of the stamp? 1 penny.
The American Museum of Natural History in New York is closing 2 major exhibits featuring Native American artifacts to comply with new federal regulations. New rules enacted under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, require museums to get consent from Native American tribes to research or display cultural artifacts. Museums across the country are shutting down or covering up culturally insensitive exhibits to comply with the rules. French farmers have shut down a major highway out of Paris in response to government plans to reduce subsidies for diesel fuel. The government has since dropped those plans, but it's not enough for the farmers who fear that increasing taxes on essential operating resources like fuel would harm their finances. France is the European Union's biggest agricultural producer. Some protesters say they're encouraged by the government's announcement that they will oppose a free trade agreement that could see more imports from Latin America. A highly trained Jack Russell Terrier catches a wave with his companion on a Peruvian beach. The 4-year-old dog named Fruits and his owner, who's a surfing instructor, have been catching waves together for about a year. His owner says Fruits loves the ocean and sometimes kneels or lays down on the front of the board. The pair have become a common sight in the beach town 30 miles outside of Lima, and other dog-human surfing duos can be spotted there on the weekend during the hot summers in the southern hemisphere.
A state trooper in Oklahoma is speaking out after a near miss during a traffic stop caught on video. Everyone involved in the incident is okay, but the trooper hopes sharing his story will help save lives. ABC's transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has the story.
That's Trooper Jesse Gregory last week on Oklahoma's I-40. It was just another traffic stop until the unthinkable happens. Trooper Gregory goes flying. He gets up and quickly runs away to avoid any additional danger, surviving and calling for help.
362 City, I was just hit by a car. Start EMS.
I didn't hear brakes or anything. I just remember going flying. I immediately knew that somebody just hit us. God absolutely protected me during that.
Investigators are still looking into the cause of the crash. Trooper Gregory coming away with a relatively minor injury to his left arm. Thankful, he's now offering this advice for passing drivers.
Get over and, when you see us, please slow down.
Gio, thanks. Our next guest is a familiar face, not only in comedy, but also in TV and in movies. He's a comedian, writer, and actor. Ronnie Chang is known for being a senior correspondent on The Daily Show, creating his own sitcom, and he has 2 Netflix specials under his belt, with so much more to come. Now, Ronnie Chang is taking his show on the road for the Love to Hate It tour. Take a look.
I love these guys who didn't go to school, and they automatically assume that they're street smart. And it's like, yo, it's not automatic. You could be book dumb and street dumb. That's also a possibility.
And And joining us now is Ronnie Chang, a.k.a. James Bond. I really like the tuxedo.
They go, well, hey, this might be the most serious room I've ever been in.
Now, tell me about the concept of the Love to Hate It tour.
There's no concept. Yeah, it's just insanity. Just whatever. You have to name it something, and I just named it that, and it has no I don't say it in the middle of the show. We don't come back to that concept. It's just.
And yet, how do you think, in your years of entertainment now, that your comedy is evolving? How is this tour different than your previous Netflix specials?
I think I'm getting better at comedy. Hopefully, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Absolutely, the 1,000 hours thing.
Yeah.
10,000 hours thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to think this is probably the best one I've come up with so far. The really interesting thing about stand-up comedy being a live performing art is also that it changes every time you perform it. And so the show that you do at the start of the tour is often very different to the one you end up with, just because you add jokes, you take stuff out, you find new ways to connect things.
We talked backstage about AAPI representation. I'm a huge fan of yours. You represent in our community. But how conscious are you of that when you do your own material, when you look around the comedy scene or even the entertainment scene?
I think sometimes it's more obvious than other times. Sometimes you're just kind of so buried in the work that you don't really think about it. And then sometimes you look up in certain rooms and you're like, oh, I guess I'm the only Asian person in this room today. So sometimes it's more obvious than others, but it's weird. It's everything. It's not the forefront of my creative process.
Sure.
It's not everything.
You're not driven by that.
Right.
But you do poke fun at Asian Americans.
Yes, yeah, I poke fun at everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I poke fun at literally every single race. But if I poke fun at Asian Americans, it becomes
a thing.
You're the Asian comic. But
yeah,
make fun of everybody.
You're far more transcendent than that. Tell me about The Daily Show. You've hosted now a couple of times.
Yes.
Jon Stewart is coming back.
Wait, what?
Wait.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Tell us about how you're playing in that arena as well.
That is the show that brought me to America. Trevor Noah hired me on the show, which is how I managed to... Everything that's good that's happened to me in America happened because of that show and because Trevor stuck his neck out to hire me. I'm not... people who kind of look like me and sound like me aren't the first choice for gigs like that. And so I just, I'll forever be indebted to Mr. Noah for sticking his neck out and hiring me on. And it's the show that invented modern American political satire. So every time you see some guy in a suit with like a video above their shoulder and they're pulling out clips, that's because of The Daily Show. They invented that.
Well, good luck on the tour. We're so excited for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for speaking to me.
Not at all, Ronnie. Thank you. And of course, we can find the dates for the Love to Hate It tour on Ronnie's website, ronniechang.com. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rapper, actor, and entrepreneur Snoop Dogg has a new movie coming out inspired by his own youth football league. ABC's Michael Strahan sat down with the hip-hop mogul to talk about his new endeavors and a surprise announcement that's sure to make his fans happy.
Hits like Who Am I catapulted Snoop Dogg to hip-hop fame in the 90s. Later, Drop It Like It's Hot would bring him to the top of the Billboard charts.
Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
Now, 3 decades in, the 16-time Grammy nominee is a business mogul and pop culture icon.
To be in the music business, to be a businessman, to be an actor, to be a producer, to do all those things, how are you able to compartmentalize everything?
I'm mastering the craft of who I am. And to be the best who I am is to do the things that make me feel good. And the main 2 things is fun, right? F-U-N and F-U-N-D-S. If it makes funds and it's fun, I'm in.
Oh, I'm feeling that one. Snoop is having a lot of fun on screen in his new movie, The Underdogs, playing 2 J's, a former pro athlete court-ordered to do public service coaching youth football.
I am football legend Jason 2 J's Jennings, your new head coach.
So how much of you is in 2 J's?
I say about 85%, and then 15% is my coach, K-Mac, because his spirit is the same way as far as the way he coaches with intensity and foul language. You know, the old school style of coaching. Before we can be the best, we got to master the fundamentals. Pretty boy, you missing pass after pass.
I love the title of the film, Underdogs.
With 2 G's, from underdog to wonderdog. I started off as an underdog, you know? That's the best dog to ever be, because you're the one that they don't pay attention to. So you got to try to figure out how to master you to where you become the greatest you could be.
I'm recommending community service with the Long Beach Recreations Department.
I thought I was getting like some Martha Stewart kind of treatment.
And you got the great cameos in this film, by the way. George Lopez, he played your high school coach. Mike Epps plays your assistant coach. Candy Burris plays the judge. Tony Gonzalez is in the movie.
Michael Strahan, you in there too. Would you like for me to show you? You can hit play. You know, some would say, who needs family when you got money, fame, and your own TV talk show? You know, I was at the pinnacle of my comeback when Gap Tooth Michael Strahan told me I was about to become a part of his family. But you see, he ain't a part of my family. Y'all are. You see that?
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That's not what I was expecting.
Nah,
That's not what I was expecting. I was about to say.
That's your Oscar award-winning. Underdogs on 3, underdogs on me. 1, 2, 3. What's my name?
What made you want to make this film?
I believe my youth football league inspired me to make this film, and then the relationship that I had with so many kids that came out of my league.
Off-screen, he is known as Coach Snoop. His love of sports driving him to create a youth football league, making the sport accessible to kids in his community.
I started asking how much did it cost, and the prices was $350 a kid, and it was just so much to keep the kids from not playing. I spent my money on brand new equipment, bought fields that we rented, referees, rule books, everything. We did it all the right way.
You talked about how lucky it is you were able to find something that didn't let you get caught up in the streets. Is that part of why you do the league, to kind of give the kids some hope?
Yeah, man. Football was the best thing that ever happened to me as a kid, Mike. It taught me how to have discipline and to have respect. So I wanted to give some of that back that was given to me.
The chart-topping artist showing me around his compound in Los Angeles, home of Death Row Records. His wife, Shantae, Snoop's high school prom date, now his manager, part of the magic behind the scenes.
How do you successfully run all of these businesses?
Well, I'm a mother, so I had to raise 3 children, so now I'm just raising adults that's walking around here.
Then we entered his recording studio.
This is the mothership.
Snoop breaking some news.
You got so many fans out there wondering what's up next, what's coming from you next. What can they look forward to?
Well, I can let the rabbit out the hat. I've been working on a record with Dr. Dre for the past 8 months. We're about ready to drop a single in a couple of weeks, so that's what I've been cooking up.
That's a Drop the Mic moment, and that's our show for tonight. I'm Juju Chang in for Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com.
News. This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.